So here in Scotland, autumn seems to have been an extremely short season this year, and we seem to be straight into winter. Which is why, as I sit here, I pretty much look like I could be given a TOG rating like a quilt. But the point is, at this time of year, a lot of hotels and establishments are taking on lots of extra staff. Now that means a lot of new starters that need training, support and nurturing from managers. I was recently doing some training for a chef manager, and she was asking me about any tips I could give her to help her give instructions to her team. Basically what she said is she'd been giving very specific instructions and telling them exactly what to do, but she found that quite often she wasn't listened to, and people seemed to actually resent the information that she was giving them. Well, this is a common enough problem, and if given in the wrong way, even the best and most useful advice can fall upon deaf ears. To help her with this, the example that I gave actually came from the gangster film Casino. There's a scene that I really like where Robert De Niro opens up his blueberry muffin and compares it to the manager that he's sitting with's blueberry muffin. He says, well, how come your one's got loads of blueberries and mine's got hardly any? It then cuts to a scene where he's standing in front of the chef, berating the chef, saying that from now on, every muffin must have exactly the same amount of blueberries. And the chef says, do you know how long that's gonna take? So I used this example when I was speaking to her. I said, imagine right now, I said, you're a pastry chef. And imagine right now if I said to you, you need to make sure that there's exactly 23 blueberries in every single muffin you make. How would you react to me telling you to do something like that? And she told me, she said, well, I'd be cross, it's not realistic, it's an unreasonable thing for you to ask me to do. Perfect, I totally understand. But then imagine if instead of wording it like that, what I said to her was, we have a problem that I need your help with. Some of the guests are experiencing some of the blueberry muffins don't have enough blueberries and others have too many. Is there some way that you and I could work together to come up with a system where we make sure that we have a better and more consistent product? I said, if I asked you that, what would you say? And she said, well, actually, yeah, there's quite a few things we could do. We could weigh out the ingredients. We could, and she went over quite a few different options. And straight away, she twigged and she realized what I was getting at. I'm basically asking the same thing, but one way I'm being way too specific, and immediately I'm getting her defenses up because I'm telling her she has to do this thing and she feels like she can't do it. On the other hand, what I'm doing is I'm asking for her help. I'm saying that I appreciate her expertise and I would like her to come up with a way of making sure that each muffin has the same amount of blueberries. Now, even though my request is identical, the way I'm asking for it couldn't be more different. And this is the secret to all management. When you've got to manage a team, it's not the army. You can't just bark orders and expect them to be followed without question. And even if you can, the bigger question is, do you really want them to be? Personally, what I want in my team are a group of professionals. I want to build them up to be experts in their own right. And the best way for them to become experts is to feel part of the decision-making process. I want to tell them how much I appreciate their input, and I want to make them feel like they're helping me solve the problem. When you're part of the solution, then you are much more inclined to help find that solution. Over the years, I've been in plenty of situations where you can feel the team breaking away from you. plenty of situations where you know that you've lost their trust or maybe their will to work in the way that you want them to do. Especially when I was younger and less experienced, I would often look at that as their failing. Like, if they can't keep up to my level, that's their problem. But as I gained experience, I realized that it's the exact opposite of that. If I can't bring them up to my level, that's my fault and my problem. Now, I don't mean individuals. Yes, there's some bad apples in every bag. Yes, there's some people who are just lazy. There's some people who really don't care about doing a good job. So we'll call them outliers and we won't bother thinking about them too much. My best advice is to remove them from the team as soon as possible, for their sake and for yours. If they really don't want to do the job, then allow them to go and do a different job that they'll enjoy. There's no point trying to change the work to suit them, because trust me, it won't work. I've tried. But if you have people who genuinely want to do the job and are genuinely passionate about it, but are just not gelling with your management style, then that is on you. And you need to find a way to draw them in. It's very much like storytelling. When you're telling a story, you need to keep the listener interested. You need to make them feel like a part of it. You need to make them feel like they're invested in getting to the end. And when you're working with and training your team, it's exactly the same. So my advice to you, and what I'd like you to take away from this tiny little touch of training, is next time you're coming up with a task for your team, think about how you package it. Are you barking an order at them, or are you involving them in the decision-making process and making them part of the solution? I'd just like to take this opportunity to plug my book. I mean, why not? So if you find the world of butlering interesting, if you'd like to know a bit more about my journey and to how I became a butler and a butler trainer, then I would encourage you to buy my book. It's called Be More Butler. It's available on Amazon, and of course I will put the link down in the description below. Just remember the blueberries, give it a go, and also you please let me know how you think it's gone. I'm doing live sessions. I'm trying to do one every Sunday. So if you come across any particular issues or things that you'd like to discuss, then please drop them in a comment on this, or just join me live on my Sunday service, which starts around midday as a live stream. That's UK time, and hopefully we can work together and get some amazing solutions. I very much look forward to seeing you soon. Have a wonderful and beautiful day. Thanks very much. Bye bye.